Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our Sabbath class, the first of January 2022. We'll be dealing with assessing different scenarios from the end times and later on in class, and we'll take it over into the evening class too. Asking everybody to like, share, and subscribe to Prophets of Awakening channel, and hit the notification button. This is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. The Tanakh is the Old Testament. The Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament, for those that don't know. Welcome and shalom to everyone, to Prophets of Awakening, to our Sabbath class. We're going to do our moment of silence, Sabbath prayer, Psalms, and do some current event. If you need to know information. Okay? Yeah, this moment of silence is for our Creator and our Redeemer, and all that they're doing to bring about our deliverance from these Gentiles and Edomites. Oh Lord, we come before Thee at the beginning of the Sabbath day that You have given unto us for rest. We come honoring You and worshiping You. We come worshiping Thee because of Thy great steadfastness and might. Oh Lord, You delivered our forefathers out of Egypt and Babylon with a show of great force. Oh Lord, You foretold that You would deliver us from the hands of our enemies, the Gentiles. Just as Your servant Daniel examined the books of Jeremiah and realized Your coming, You, O Lord, have opened our eyes to these books that have been hidden from us, and we have discovered that You foretold the prophets that You are coming to deliver us. We are waiting, seeking You, O Lord, at this hour, seeking and waiting for Your return. Tarry not, O Lord, stretch forth Thine hands upon our enemies, scatter them, and come from Thy holy habitation, and turn back our captivity. Peace be unto You. Okay, I'm gonna do a song. Okay. Okay, I'll do 69. Psalm 69. It says, it's a cry of distress. And it's to the chief musician upon Shushan, the Psalm of David. Save me, O God, for the waters are come in unto my soul. I sink in a deep mouth where there is no standing. I am come into the deep waters where the floods overflow me. I am weary of my crying. My throat is dry. Mine eyes fail while I wait for my God. They that hate me without cause are more than the hairs of my head. They that would destroy me, being my enemies wrongfully and mighty, then I restore that which that I took not away. O God, Thou knowest my foolishness and my sin, and I'm not hid from Thee. Let not them that wait on Thee, O Lord, God of hosts, be ashamed for my sake. Let not those that seek Thee be confounded for my sake, O God of Israel, because for Thy sake I have borne reproach. Shame hath covered me, my face. I am become a stranger unto my brethren, and an alien unto my mother's children. For the zeal of Thine house hath eaten me up, and the reproach of them that reproach Thee are fallen upon me. When I weep and chasten my soul with fasting, that was my reproach. I made sackcloth also my garment, and I became a proverb to them. They that sat in the gate speak against me, and I was the song of the drunkard. But as for me, my prayer is unto Thee, O Lord, in an acceptable time, O God. In the multitude of Thy mercy, hear me. In the truth of Thy salvation, deliver me out of the and let me not sink. Let me be delivered from them that hate me, and out of the deep waters. And let not the water flood, overflow me, neither let the deep swallow me up, and let not the pit shut her mouth upon me. Hear me, O Lord, for thy loving kindness is good. Turn unto me according to the multitude of thy tender mercy, and hide not thy face from thy servant, for I am in trouble. Hear me speedily. Draw nigh unto my soul, and redeem it. Deliver me because of mine enemies. Thou hast known my reproach and my shame and my dishonor. Mine adversaries are all before thee. Reproach have broken my heart, and I am full of heaviness. And I looked for some to take pity, but there was none, and for comforters, but I found none. They gave me also gall for my meat, and in my thirst they gave me vinegar to drink, and let their table become a snare before them, and that which should have been for their welfare, let it become a trap. Let their eyes be darkened, that they see not, and make their loins continuously to shake. Pour out thine indignation upon them, and let thy wrathful anger take hold of them. Let their habitation be desolate, and let none dwell in their tents, for they persecute him whom thou hast smitten, and they talk to the grief of those whom thou hast wounded, and add iniquity unto their iniquity, and let them not come into their righteousness. Let them be blotted out of the book of living, and not be written with the righteous. But I am poor and sorrowful. Let thy salvation, O God, set me up on high. I will praise the name of God with a song, and I will magnify him with thanksgiving. This also shall please the Lord better than an ox or a bullock that have horns and hoofs. The humble shall see this and be glad, and in your heart shall live that seek God. The Lord heareth the poor, and despiseth not his prisoners. Let the heavens and the earth praise him, the seas and everything that move therein. For God will save Zion, and will build the cities of Judah, that they may dwell there and have it in possession. The seed also of his servants shall inherit it, and they that love his name shall dwell therein. That's Psalm 69, a cry for distress. Psalm of David. Any comments?
Shalom.
Okay.
Verse 32. The humble shall see
Okay.
this and be glad, and your heart shall live that seek God. Um, I'm thinking that's why a lot of us, we don't know who to pray to, and we don't know the Lord of hosts, because we're not humbling ourselves. We're not
Exactly.
seeking him with our whole heart.
Right. Exactly. That's what brings you in closer to him is when you humble your heart. And he continues to tell us to have a contrite spirit. That's what brings you into him. Yeah. It's in 36 go along with that. The seed also of his servants shall inherit it, and they that love his name shall dwell therein. Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, it just showed too how they have degraded David.
Right.
You know, a lot of these verses I see they put on JC in the New Testament.
Exactly. Right.
It's just ridicule, and our people don't understand David, and
Right.
it's sad.
Right. You can't get around it when you it's so much stuff I like we were showing last night how he got all those names and lineages in there all through the Old Testament for a reference, for you to reference them, and the brother brought them out last night. So In 21, like you said, he says, they gave me also gall. David talking. You see, they gave me, David, also gall for meat, for my meat. And in our thirst, they gave me vinegar. That's the same thing. We see where it come from.
Right.
You got to deal with that. You can't act like you don't see that and read it. Come on. They want you to think that it's referencing JC. Yeah, he said me. They gave me.
Yeah. Ridicule, man. I see why the anger is gonna be there when David comes
Right,
to destroy all the nations, and
right,
it's sad, man. And
right,
our own people don't see it. It's
right. Exactly. You trying to get to him, man? Yeah, yeah. I was gonna. I just let it go. Uh, but I was reading uh that 72 last night, and I was shining a light on the fact that Solomon is Solomon's son, Solomon's son, a son of
right,
Solomon, and then it's the last son for David. It's the last. Said this ends. And say these the prayers. This ends the prayers of David, son of Jesse,
right,
right? But notice how it's coming off. It says, uh, verse 1: Give the king thy judgment, O God, and thy righteousness unto the king's son. Right? He pointing to him, Solomon. He shall
right,
judge thy people with righteousness, and thy poor with judgment. The mountains shall bring peace to the people, and the little hills by righteousness. He shall judge the poor of the people, and shall save the children of the needy, and shall break in pieces the oppressor. Uh, and they shall fear thee as long as the sun and the moon endure throughout all generations. So it's almost as if Solomon referring to his father.
right.
So in a future event, futuristic, like he's gonna come back.
Exactly.
Like 8, he said he shall have dominion also from sea to sea and from river to river unto the ends of the earth. And when you see that right there, and you compare that to uh 89, what
Yes.
you see what I'm saying? You see it's David.
Yeah. He put
Solomon,
his
no,
hand in the sea. Yeah.
right, right. You see, yeah,
Exactly.
like that.
Man, they'd have crossed us up
Yeah,
every
they
which
done
way
crossed
we
us
went.
all up with that, right? And David even saying, even in the Psalms I just read, David saying right here, you see how he talking. He knew who he was. He was anointed one. He says 71:2 says, "Deliver me in thy righteousness and cause me to escape, and incline thine ear unto me and save me. Be thou my strong habitation whereunto I may continuously resort. Thou hast given commandments to save me, for thou art my rock and my fortress. Deliver me, O my God, out of the hands of the wicked and out of the hands of the unrighteous and cruel men. For thou art my hope, O Lord God. Thou art my trust from my youth. By thee have I been holding up from the womb. Thou art he that took me out of my mother's bowels, and my let's see if I'm right. No, that ain't the one I read. What did I read? 69?
Yeah.
Yeah, I read the wrong thing. So yeah, it says, Save me, O God, verse 1, 69 and 1. It says, Save me, O God, for the waters have come into my soul. I sink in the deep mire. Where there is no standing, I am coming to the deep waters, where the floods overflow me. I am weary of my crying, and my throat is dried. Mine eyes fail while I wait for my God. They that hate me without cause are more than the hairs of my head, and they that would destroy me, being my enemies wrongfully, are mighty. When then I restored uh, that which I took away. For God, thou knowest my foolishness, and my sin are not hid from thee. Let not them that wait on thee, O God of hosts, be ashamed of my sake, and let not those that seek thee be confounded for my sake, O God, because because for that sake I have borne the reproach, and shame have covered me. So right here, where I was going, it says 7, because for thy sake, for the Lord's sake, I have borne thy reproach. So David is the one receiving all the punishment for Israel. You
Mm-hmm.
see that?
Yeah.
David, so he said, I'm born a reproach from all that's going on with Israel. Then he says, I have become a stranger unto my brethren. See that? All
Mm-hmm.
this he come from. I have become a stranger unto my brethren and an alien unto my mother's children. See that? So to go back to the narrative of JC, he came to his own received him not. So 9, for the zeal of thine house. See that? That's all Israel. For the zeal of thine house have eaten me up. Because he gave Israel to him. And David
Right.
to be over. And he said, your house that ate me up. See that? He said,
Yes.
for the
Yeah.
zeal of thine house have eaten me up, and the reproach of them that reproach thee are fallen upon me. See, all
Right.
Israel fall on him, yeah.
Yeah.
And
And,
that's what he's talking about when he say my bones and all they talk about the cities and all that. Yeah. And people don't, they can't fathom
yeah.
that because they're so caught up with JC.
Yeah, they really underestimating David. Hey, let me read one more thing. I'm gonna read Psalm 17 and 15. And as for me, I will behold thy face in righteousness. I shall be satisfied when I awake with
Right,
thy likeness. When he bring David back, David, all that power gonna be in David. He gonna be just like a man God.
right, exactly. Right, right. Yeah,
I
yeah,
shall
yeah.
be
So
satisfied when I awake with thy likeness.
right, right, right.
Now we made in the image, but he's saying he gonna be like the Lord of hosts. And
Right,
and and, and you know it referenced that in the hypocrisy of Abraham
right,
when David come out of the sea. He said,
exactly,
I'm gonna give my power to him.
right, exactly. Right. That was my point when we was talking the other day. We're gonna go back over it again when we do the assessment of the end time. So when you go back, when you get to Ezekiel, right, 38,
Mm-hmm.
we see the power that David wielding. But look what Ezekiel 38 is saying. They saying let us go up against them. They can't say that if David back. See what I'm saying? He can't be back. For them to say that, let's go up and get them because they the same thing when they came to the West Coast. The only reason they decided to come get us, that our power wasn't there. They didn't see our power. So he came. So that means that up until that point, he ain't came back. We on the West Coast of Africa, but he ain't back because they can sit there and say, let us get our armies together and let us go and spoil them. They wouldn't. They never considered that when Israel was coming out of Egypt. The Lord, we see, he tells us in Isaiah, the Lord is over us. You go, I'll be seen over you. Talking about the cloud. So they ain't nobody try to attack them when they was coming out of Egypt because they saw that they God that went and got them and he was with them. He was over them. He was seen over them. They seen the fire when they stopped them to rest. The fire was over them. It tell you at night. The cloud was over them, the fire was behind them. But nobody come, they wouldn't try to make no plans to spoil them. But these people in Ezekiel 38 then came concocted in their mind, they're gonna go and spoil them. People that's at rest. That's because he ain't there. And that's when he show up. That's the point I was trying to make. But we'll go back to that again. You know, it's something to ponder. Okay. Anybody else got anything out of the songs? Okay, you got any current events? Okay, we play this right here and then a couple of we're going to the Q&A.
Analyst. He joins me right now. General, it's good to see you. Thanks very much for being here. I guess this is a response also to the fact that we gave up the Bagram Air Base in Afghanistan. Well, I'm a little surprised by the report. I mean, most of it's classified, but if there was a major shift in our global force structure, it would be revealed here. And certainly improving a couple of airfields I'm assuming that needs to be done. We're putting more ammunition and logistics there. But we're not coming to grips, in my judgment, with what the real issue is. I mean, China clearly outguns us and outmans us. I mean, they have more ships, more airplanes, more missiles in the region than we do. And common sense tells you if we want to deter them from a conflict in the region, then we have to have forces in the region. We're an ocean away, 2 weeks from the west coast of the United States. A lot of our bombers are in the United States. They're not in the region. We should be forward deploying submarines, more missiles, and more of our bombers into the region to deter war. We have to make the adjustment after the 9/11 wars to the reality of what we're facing. We got three major threats. One is China, second is Russia, and the third is Iran. And that gives us, in my judgment, reason to readjust our force posture and recognize that we have to deter all three of those threats. And that means it's more money. We have to take forces out of the United States, where most of our forces are, and forward deploy them and recognize that what this threat really is. And I don't think this is happening. I'm surprised by it, to be frank about it. Well, you're right. It's not happening, General. I mean, look at the budget for defense. It is not increasing at all. We're actually, when you compare it to inflation, seeing a decline in the defense budget, in the overall Bernie Sanders budget. So why isn't the administration recognizing these threats are rising and we need to strengthen it? You yourself has been saying that China it outguns us, particularly related to the Navy. You've been saying this for over a year. No doubt about it. I mean, the budget, I think, is a factor, Maria. I'm glad you brought it up. Certainly, that's never going to be stated in the report. But the fiscal constraints on the Defense Department are serious. Think about these spending bills that you've been discussing, for weeks and months. Trillions of dollars being spent on domestic programs. There's two departments in the federal government that are not getting the plus up. One is the Defense Department. It's actually a reduction because it's not accounting for inflation. And the other is the Department of Homeland Security, who's responsible for our domestic security. So this is a serious issue, and I hope it gets a lot of public exposure here as we're heading towards an eventual improvement of the defense budget, which should be coming in the next number of several weeks for sure. And it is inadequate. That's exactly right. Yeah. Well, it's inadequate, and it has been inadequate for some time. Let's talk about the other threats, because our audience, I think, understands where we are on China and understands that we are tiptoeing around the Communist Party. For what reason, we want to know. Iran is another issue you just mentioned, and Russia. Let's talk Iran for a moment, making many demands as it resumes nuclear talks with the U.S., as Israel is warning Iran is preparing to enrich weapons-grade uranium, General. Your reaction to these negotiations? I mean, Iran wants to wipe Israel off the map, and we're still negotiating with them to get back into an Iran nuclear deal. Yeah, I mean, we are playing such a weak hand going into these negotiations. I mean, just think about it. When we changed administrations, we had Iran on their heels. We had devastating maximum pressure sanctions on them. Their economy was clearly in a tank. We had just killed Qasem Soleimani, who is an iconic leader in Iran, and second only to the supreme leader in terms of his power and his impact on the country. Iran knew full well if they started to get out of the box during the Trump presidency, that President Trump was going to push back on him. Here comes the Biden presidency. As opposed to building on that strength and using the Abraham Accords also as part of the foundation, and the sanctions and the pushback on Qasem Soleimani's death, what did they do? They walked away from all of that. They're not doing anything to enhance the Abraham Accords, and and our audience probably doesn't know this, but they eased up on the sanctions that President Trump had imposed. And as a result of it, the Iranian economy, Maria, while it's still in the tank, it is recovering slowly, which conditions them to be tough going into these negotiations. And
okay. Any comments on that? We see right here, Iran, all of a sudden we've been looking at how it's been a 1-2 punch, Russia, China, and Russia, China. Now we see Iran in the picture. And like I presented the other day, Iran came out and said they want to put sanctions on the United States for the atrocities that they did to the African Americans in the transatlantic slave trade. Ain't that something? So Iran saying it, China saying it, and Russia, all three of them saying that, they got a problem with what they done to the African Americans and doing transatlantic slave trade. So that's what the
Yeah,
revolution is. Huh?
America sound like America in trouble.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they in trouble, man. Right. Yeah, let me get this my email address is ljohnson777 at live.com. Okay. Okay, so with that being said, yeah, so we'll go into some Q&A. Anybody have any questions or comments they want to bring up something about?
I'm just curious, real quick, about what you just said about Iran.
Okay.
Now I know I really know the geographical. I just Iran and that those people over there, Iraq and all of those people, they are just as abusive against. I don't know. I'm just it's just interesting that they are talking about the atrocities that the slavery was with in America. So I look just kind of, I may be, they may be a whole bunch of different sections over there. Like the one I sent y'all about how they still have those people over there, and those people that that lady that they were beating. She was like a servant to them over there.
Right.
And so it's my understanding they still have a lot of that going on in some parts over there. So it's just interesting that they are the people that are talking about atrocities um, when they're just as corrupt or have been in the past. So I don't know if that specific area is the same area.
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah, well, what it is when you understand what they're doing, it's not related to that. What they want to do is they America had the whole world submitted to them. That's how they was able. That's how they was ruling. They got the dollar, the number one currency, which is if you take that away, they'll go collapse. But so they using propaganda, even though they wicked as hell, they did the same thing. They're using propaganda to get the countries to side with them and to make America look bad by saying that what they did to the African American. They're using the propaganda, which is come from the Greeks to it's a means to disassemble America uh, from what you call that
So they just essentially teaming up, finding an
right.
excuse to team up against America. I see.
And they right now they have like 132 nations that's siding it's 132 nations siding with Russia and China and Iran, and it's like 100 nations or 98 nations sided with America. So they on all fronts. America slowly going down. They using they decimating their authority and their appeal that they have on all nations. That's the whole objective to it. And on the other end, they tearing the economy down with these container ships, manipulating the flow of our resources, because we totally just dependent on China, because China is the one producing all the products, majority of them, and that's their job. They're doing a slow takedown of America. Yeah.
And they've been sitting back. They ain't said nothing. I mean, we get shot down in the streets
Right.
and all this stuff. And but you know the sanctions they putting on Iran and trying to put on China and Russia. You know
Right.
I mean it is odd that they never said nothing till now. I mean
Right.
they have to just sit back and watch it. They don't give a damn about us and
Right.
they just trying to justify what they finna do.
Right. And if you look at that from the perspective of how the Most High set everything up, when He created it, like they said, what you sow, you're gonna reap. So we just saw last night they monitored us for years, hundreds of years, monitored us and found a way how to get our stuff. Well, these folks monitored America for years, just find a way how to break them down. Get the same thief go and steal something from somebody else. You're supposed to be expecting somebody gonna try to steal it from you, and that's what's happening. They want the stuff you stole from the Israelites 400-500 years ago. They want it. They want it now. They in behind it now. They using the same tactics you use to get it. That's what we're looking at.
And that is one of the Lord of hosts methods of delivering a nation from a nation. You know,
Right.
Deuteronomy 4:27.
Exactly.
One of his methods is war.
Right. Yeah, and it's what they sold. They sold war and propaganda and debauchery, and the same thing being sown on them. You get some? Yeah. I'm gonna play this right here, Dr. Mooney for a minute. She's trying to talking about Book of Revelation. Then we'll go into lesson.
So I got a very interesting question, and we have this segment called Ask Dr. Mumbi where you can email us, and we usually pick either the question that resonates the most spiritually or the one that is most, seems to be most popular in a particular season, and we seek to answer it in this segment of the show. And beloveds, I got a question where a certain sister was asking whether I believe the book of Revelations was doctored, and I've been meditating on this because she hit a nerve. And I was like, if we know that the Bible is a military weapon and that the books in the Bible were voted in, literally, and they actually tried to keep the book of Revelations out for so long. And if we understand that most of the things, I think they say like 286 verses out of 400 or something like that, of the verses in the book of Revelations actually match the Old Testament. For many of we, the Old Testament is literally, that's our document. But the New Testament is the MK Ultra program. That's the military operation, beloved. And it has a lot of truth and lies kind of like corrugated together, as we say, all mixed in together. But I wasn't sure about this one. And of course, if you do research online, it's not really there. But I know there's so many brilliant people that watch this show. So, beloveds, do you believe? Or do you know? Or do you perceive? Are you aware? Has the book of Revelations been doctored? Because why would they leave it in there?
Okay. Any comments on that?
Shalom.
Yeah.
She's leaning to research and her own understanding.
Right.
And she's
Okay.
not spiritually connected.
Right. Yeah. She got the part about it. The question she posed is what I was gonna deal with. Yeah. Yeah. They caught all up uh, with worshiping ancestors and all that stuff for Egyptology. So yeah, we understand that. Okay. Anybody else having more questions and comments about anything before we go into the lesson? So, yeah, if nobody have anything, we're going to go and look at, go to like 3 or 4 different places, understanding that about the end times. And we understand that uh, David is the one that's coming back. And now we're at the point based on the couple of Sundays ago, we had the conversation how that when it is that David coming. So we're going to go back and look at some of these scenarios in the Old Testament and in Second Ezra, and then we're going to see exactly when that time frame is by looking at cross-referencing all those different situations and events that was presented to us by different prophets. So the first place we're going to go is Daniel chapter 2. Daniel chapter 2. We're doing some reading. So Daniel chapter 2, I'm going to pick it up at verse 29. It says, when everybody should be familiar with it, Nebuchadnezzar had a dream, and then he wanted Daniel to interpret the dream. So we're going to pick it up in chapter 2, verse 29. As for thee, O king, thy thoughts came into thy mind upon thy bed, what should come to pass hereafter. And he that revealeth secrets maketh known to thee what shall come to pass. But as for me, this secret is not revealed to me for any wisdom that I have more than any living, but for their sake they shall make, but for their sake that should make known the interpretation to the king, and that thou mightest know the thoughts of thine heart. Okay, thou, O king, saw it, and behold, a great image whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. This image he was of fine gold, and his breasts and his arms of silver, and his belly and his thighs of brass, and his legs of iron, and his feet part iron and part clay. So this the whole synopsis right here. And this right here all this has to manifest itself before David can show up. The 33 says his legs of iron, feet part iron and part clay. That's down to the soles of the feet and the 10 toes. All that has to be completed before David show back up, and the Most High's end time redemption can start. So 34 says, "Thou sawest till a stone was cut out without hand, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and of clay, and break them into pieces." So they tell us right here that this stone was JC, and we know that's a lie from the pits of hell. So anyway, keep that in mind. The stone was cut out. A stone was cut out without hands, right? 35. Then was the iron and the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken into pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floor, and the wind carried them away, that no place was found of them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain, and filled the whole earth. So we know, when I'm thinking like a Hebrew, mountain means a nation. Like he said, it's Zerubbabel. What is this great mountain before Zerubbabel? So it says 36. This is a dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. Then 37. Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the God of heaven have given thee a kingdom, power, and great strength and glory. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, beasts of the field, fowls of the heavens, have he given unto thee to thine hands, and have made thee ruler over them all. Thou art this head of gold. So let's look at that. 38 says, wheresoever the children of men dwell. So you don't stop. It don't stop right when you get to the Atlantic Ocean. He says wherever they dwell at. So that's all the way over here too. And it's over here anywhere wheresoever the children of men dwell. We know those people over here. So it ain't like this part of the world was included in the script. So he says, wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field, animals, wherever animals at, and the fowls of the heavens have he given into thy hands, and have made thee ruler over them all. Thou art this head of gold. And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces, and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all things, it shall break in pieces and bruise. And whereas thou sawest the feet and the toes, here we go right here, the feet and the toes, part of potter's clay, part iron, and the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it great strength of iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. And as for the toes of the feet, or part iron and part clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to another people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. For as much as thou saw the stone, the stone again, that was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it break in pieces, the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the clay, and the great God have made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter, and the dream is certain, and interpretation thereof. So I'm going to show you some of what they did right here. It says, in 44, in those days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom. So where is this coming from? In those days of these kings. So what kings? This question got to be posed. So we go over here to Daniel chapter 8. And it says, I'm reading the interpretation starting at verse 15. He's trying to figure out who these kings is. It says, I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body, and the vision of my head troubled me. I came near unto one of them that stood by, asked him the truth of all this. So he told me, made me know the interpretation of these things. These great beasts, which are four kings. They are the kings right there, which shall arise out of the earth. But the saints of the Most High, that's Ezekiel 37, the resurrected saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even and forever. Then I would know the truth of the fourth beast. See that? Kings is in the fourth beast. So it says, which or was diverse from all the others, exceedingly dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, and his nails of brass, which devour and break in pieces and stomp the residue, and of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, his kings, even of the horn that had eyes and a mouth that spoke great things, whose looks were more stout than his fellows. I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints, his Constantine, and prevailed against him until the Ancient of Days, and the judgment was given to the saints of the Most High, and the time that came that the saints should possess the kingdom. So that's when it's time comes for the saints to possess the kingdom, David over these saints. So it says 23, Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all the kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and tread it down and break it into pieces. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings. See that? And I showed you that the 10 toes represent these 10 kings, and they've existed in succession. They got you thinking, like I said, we're gonna go into that in a minute, but that's Revelations is like she just asked the question. That's they end time scenario they concoct. You can't deal with that. You can't deal with that. They didn't when you understand what it is, they didn't concocted that. Here go the kings right here that Daniel was talking about in verse chapter 2. And he says, the 10 toes. Like I said, Charlemagne was one of them, the French ruled. Then they went down. Britain came up. Then America came. America the ninth beast. Then the fourth beast, China gonna come. That's when David show up. He can't show up from over here, and then we still got to deal with China. Like I was saying before, they asked the question. Uh, they had enough nerve to say that let's go over and spoil them. David and all that we done read that's gonna happen when David come back can't be Israel can't be encompassed with that for them to make that statement. It ain't happened yet. It's after they do that. It's when it tells you his anger went up in his nostrils. But for the audacity that they have after they've seen how he delivered us from over here, and now all of a sudden they still want to come up and try to spoil us. That's when it go down. So anyway, verse 23 says, uh, thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and it shall be devoured the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall arise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until the time, and the dividing of time. We still dealing with that. What was set up, we still dealing with that. Time, and dividing the time. Then 26 says, but the judgment, that's what David is the judgment. Ezekiel, Isaiah 66, a man child. We're going to go to that in a minute too. It says 26, but the judgment shall set, and they shall take away his kingdom. This Constantine, what he set up. Constantine, the one denigrated David. That's been working all the way to the day, right to the very day. So it says, but the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion, take away Constantine's dominion, what he set up to consume and destroy it until the end. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heavens shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High. There it is, saints, Ezekiel 37. Who over them? David, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and a dominion shall serve forever. This is the stone right here. Shall obey him. It's the stone that was cut out. Any comments so far? Any thing anybody want to inject?
Yeah. Hey,
All right.
uh, my thing is, it's got to be a line drawn between the day of judgment, the day of the Lord,
Right.
and the day that we come out of America.
Right.
That's got to be two different events,
Right.
and I think Second Ezra is answered that,
Right.
and Isaiah 11.
Right. Okay. Right. Right. Yeah. That's the very point I'm making. It's not when you understand that it's 10 kings, it's 10 toes. and this the ninth toe, then whatever happens here, it ain't the day of the Lord.
Right.
You say, okay, yeah, right,
But now you picture us coming out. We got to come out with great substance.
right,
He to put a bullseye on one single nation.
right,
I mean, he judging everybody. Don't get me wrong,
right,
but it's a special bullseye on one nation that he's dealing with, called Genesis 15, and these people got to come out with great substance. But how can you turn loose all these people with great substance
right.
and set them on the west coast of Africa with no guidance or organized? I mean, that'll be chaotic.
Right, right. That's my point. China is coming and doing what they're doing for. They got other reason. They got a hidden agenda reason why they delivering us, but they are not understanding it. They greed. Remember, he gonna whoever it is that he used to deliver us, he gonna put hooks in them. He gonna deceive them. They and how he deceived them is they greed. They looking at all this money, and then the nation that when you start looking at the nation he talking about, he gonna judge. It's Esau. Esau the one that was 13 colonies. Esau the one was here. Esau the one with that had the boats. It wasn't Americans. Esau was the nation that brought us into captivity. Esau the one that did all this horrendous stuff to us. And in disguise, they got other people posted up as they got faces on them, but Esau the one. Mosiah, when he talking to the culprit. Esau the culprit. Esau is the one behind the Chinese. But he hiding behind the Chinese, but he's the one orchestrating it. He's the one putting all this money out that China's spending. These Rothschilds. That's a nation that's got to be judged. And so when you look at that, we're gonna go to Obadiah right quick. It ain't the Americans. So go to Obadiah right quick. You'll see that. This is something to consider. So I'm in Obadiah, starting at verse 17. And this it says in my King James Bible, it says Israel's ultimate triumph. So whatever he say right here, this was ultimately gonna free Israel. And you also gonna see who the culprit is. So he says, but upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance. See that? Upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance. And there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall be a possession, shall possess the possessions, and the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph, they go to the 10 tribes, right? The 2 kingdoms, and the house of Esau, they go to Cobra. The house of Esau for a stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord hath spoken. They go to Cobra. That's the ultimate triumph of Israel, getting rid of Esau. Esau the one behind it. These are the Chinese and the Greeks and all of them ain't know shit about us. Until Esau, when you go back and look at the story, Esau ended up in Greece. Alexandria, Philip, and all them wind the Gentiles up to come to Israel. He the culprit. That's the nation he's talking about that he got to judge. And all that happens back in the land. He got to bring them back to the land to do it. And so the end times don't end until he get rid of Esau. David don't come till it's time to get rid of Esau. So delivering us from here ain't the ultimate triumph. So then when you start putting all these events like we're gonna do, start putting them together, you start to see how the scenario is on playing. Incoming.
Hey, Leonard, can you go to Isaiah 61?
Right. Okay.
This is why I still believe David is going to deliver us out of this captivity because, and then I'm going to go to Second Ezra. But
Okay.
61, 1, 2, and 3,
Right.
wait a minute. The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me because the Lord has anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek.
Right.
This David, right?
Um. Keep reading it.
Okay. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted,
No, that's
to
Isaiah.
pro
That's Isaiah.
yeah, but he's talking about David
Okay. The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me because He have anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek.
to proclaim liberty to the captives.
Yeah, that's the captives in Babylon.
Yeah,
Not
but that's his routine. He
okay.
he keep repeating his okay to proclaim liberty to the captives and opening of the prisons to them that are
Right.
bound,
Right.
to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all that mourn, to
Right.
appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto the beauty of ashes the oil of joy of mourning, garment praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called trees of righteous, the planting of the Lord, that he might be glorified.
Mm-hmm.
That's that same spirit he put on David, though. That's in Isaiah 11.
Okay. Right. 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 Yeah. Yeah. That's good comparison. All I'm saying is it's a time appointed, and when you understand that it's four beasts, all the four. He said Nebuchadnezzar was the head of gold. Then you had the Medes and Persians, the Greeks and the Romans. All they got to play out for David come. It's not going when we leave here. The four beasts ain't played out,
Yeah, but he okay. Let
and Esau
let
is the
me
four.
read
Esau is the
let
four
me
beast.
let me read this verse out of Second Ezra.
Okay.
I'm gonna read three verses. All right. 12 and 32,
Right.
33 and 34. You have heard, he is the anointed one,
Right.
whom the Most High has kept until the end of days,
Right.
who will spring from the prosperity of David
Right.
and come and talk with them.
Right.
He's gonna come and talk just like Moses went and talked
Yeah. So
to
hold that
them.
right there. Hold that right there.
Okay.
Hold that right there. So now, let's read this right quick. So okay. So right here in Joel, it says, let me get it. Uh, I will gather all nations together and bring them into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and I will plead with them there for my people. It's the same thing. Keep going.
But see, I don't believe it's the same thing because this is him delivering this is David coming back to deliver us out of that nation.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna continue on.
So he gonna deliver them twice.
No.
Okay.
The
All right.
tents of Judah gotta Judah gotta be delivered first, right?
Right.
Over in Isaiah 11,
Right.
I think 11:11, it say he set his hand the second time.
Right.
He that means he got to deliver us out of America first.
Okay.
Then Isaiah 11:11 say the Lord set his hand the second time and went and got the remnant, the rest of the remnant that was left from all them other places. But he already promised to deliver Judah first.
Okay.
But I'm gonna continue in Second Ezra. uh 12 and 32. For you have heard, he is the anointed one, whom the Most High has kept until the end of days. He will spring from the prosperity of David and come and talk with them.
Right.
He will charge them. I'm looking at that right there as being reparations. He's charging them.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna continue on with their ungodliness and rebuke them for their wickedness and reproach them to their faces with their transgressions. For first he will set them alive before his judgment seat, and when he has rebuked them, he will destroy them.
Right.
Okay, check this out. But my people who remain, he will mercifully set free, who remain in my borders, and he will make them glad until the end comes, the day of judgment. See, this is not the day of judgment.
Right.
He's setting us free out of America.
Okay.
He's charging them. This is the whole purpose of when David said in 17:15 of Psalms, he desired that day when he arrives and be in the likeness of the Lord of hosts. And see, when you start putting, when you, it's just like the hypocrisy of Abraham. Okay.
Right.
Okay. The hypocrisy of Abraham. And I advise everybody to get this book because in chapter 30, it's telling you, I'm going to put these 10 plagues on the heathens. And in verse 30, and he telling you these plagues. And that conflagration of many cities, we saw that this week. How that fire just arose and devoured them, all them houses in Colorado. That's destruction of fire. That's one of them plagues, and
Okay.
and the stress of the people. The people are really distressed right now. They don't know which way to turn. But anyway, after he put these 10 plagues on the heathens, and this right here lines right up with Second Ezra, chapter
Okay.
31. Chapter
Right.
31 lines right up. It says, and then I will sound my trumpet out of the air, and I will send my elect one. That's David,
Right.
having in him my power. He's gonna make David just like he's gonna give David some of his power. Just
Right.
like he gave Moses. He told
Right.
Moses, you're gonna be a God in front of Pharaoh.
Right.
Okay? And and and, and, and this one shall summons my despised people. Who is despised? But his people from the nations.
Right.
If he summons his people, he's gathering. See, it to me it's two different events. This is not the day of the Lord. Is it?
Okay.
That's why I say David has got to come back before Ezekiel 38 because we got to get to the west coast of Africa, but we got to be organized. We got to have ordinance. I mean, and Second Ezra tell you that I'm on. This is my last time. Second Ezra tell us that when David come, he's gonna bring he's gonna redeem his people and bring ordinance.
Okay. Right.
Let me see. Okay, here it is. Okay. Uh Second Ezra 13:25. This is the meaning of the vision. As for you seeing a man come up out of the heart of the sea, he is the one whom the Most High has kept a long time. through through who he will redeem his creation. He will organize those that are left. You can't turn loose. They say 44 million Negroes in America. I don't know, but when you get to the west coast of Africa, we got to come out of here with great substance.
Right.
And to me, we just got it when I read uh Second Ezra 12 and 32 and
Right.
33 and 34.
Right.
And David is going to get us that. And all through the scripture, it's telling you he gonna break. He when he come, all these nations they. But that's why he's pinpointing and bullseyeing America. America is that 400-year prophecy.
Okay.
And David has been kept just for this. And it lines right up with the prophecy of Abraham after he get through putting them 10 plagues on the heathens. That's when he's gonna call David out of the sea. And David is gonna come and summons his despised people. And that fall right into Second Ezra, where
Okay.
he's gonna charge them. He's gonna charge this government, and they're gonna have to up reparations.
Okay.
And and and, and I could have went on where they gonna fight against David when he come out of the sea.
Right.
They putting these satellites and things up right now.
They're gonna try to fight against him.
What's that?
They're gonna try to fight against him, but it tell you in
Yeah,
second hand,
yeah, they gonna
them all up.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
And Isaiah 11, it it said the same thing about David. Look, can I read that right quick?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, 11:11 Isaiah. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord will set his hand again the second time. The second time
Okay.
to recover the remnant of his people, which are left from Assyria, Egypt, Pathros, Cush. But Judah got to come out first.
Right.
And that's David delivering us.
Right.
And I was looking for that verse with him, the rod of his mouth, because that falls right in line with Second Ezra when they try to fight against him.
Yeah. That's up there 11 and 4, 3, working out around there.
Okay. And he shall make him a quick understanding of the Lord, and he shall
Yeah. Right there.
not judge after the sight of the eyes, neither prove after the hearing of the ears, but with righteousness shall he judge the poor, yes, and reprove iniquity for the meek of the earth. And he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth
Right.
and with the breath of his lips. That's him coming out of the sea, and all these nations and these nations trying to fight against him.
Right. So right. So if you go back to Joel again, I got two things about that. Like I said, it's for everybody to rightly divide it whichever direction they want to go in. So it says everything you just said. I'm in Joel. I'm gonna start at 1. Joel 3, verse 1. For behold, in those days and at that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. See that? Not Judah and Israel. Judah and Jerusalem. It's the children of Judah. I told you this the southern kingdom. Watch this. I will also gather all nations and bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, and I will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and departed my land. And they have cast lots for my people, and they have given a boy for a harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they may drink. This is the transatlantic slave trade. 4. Yea, and what have ye to do with it, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine, will you render recompense? And if you recompense me swiftly, speedily will I return my recompense upon your own head. Now here you go. Because you have taken the pleading, the talking you was talking about. Because you have taken my silver and my gold, carried it into your temples of my holy pleasant things. Here you go. The children of Judah and the children of Jerusalem. Have he delivered Judah. See that? The children of Judah and the children of Jerusalem. See that? That's the one pertaining to the city, his city, and the temple. Have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their borders. That's where we at. That's Judah right there.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, it's us coming out of America and going to the west coast of Africa, and this that is what's leading up to the day of the Lord. When he gathering them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat. That's that's not us coming out of America. David got to come back and save us, and that's what he's doing in Isaiah 11.
Right. That's right here. That's what it is. Let's go somewhere else.
See, we gotta we gotta be dwelling in unwalled villages,
Right.
and you know that's a time period until the Valley of Jehoshaphat. What I'm saying, we had to come out of America and all the other countries, and we dwelling in unwalled villages, which I
Right.
to me to me that's going to me that's like Goshen, and because see when David come out of that sea, that Ezekiel 37 army is not with David yet.
Right. So let's look at that. I'm in Zechariah chapter 12. This same thing Joel saying. So it says that I'm gonna talk about this first before I read this. So we see where Enoch had prophesied that he saw. They put it over and it's a reason they did all this, but they put it over in Jude, and it says he saw the Lord coming with 10,000 of his saints. Right? You remember that
Right.
verse?
Yeah.
Who are the saints?
Yeah, that's the Ezekiel 37 army.
Okay, so he saw the Lord coming with 10,000 saints. Ain't David one of the saints?
Yeah.
Okay, and then he said that before she travailed, he brought forth a man child. So that puts David there. So the Lord coming with David and the saints. That's what that is. So now I'm gonna read chapter 12. Let's look
But
at this.
hold up. He read that again. He said before, before she gave birth,
Right,
before
right.
she travailed, David, David got to come
No, no, no,
before
no,
the
no, no,
lady.
no. He's gonna resurrect David. He's gonna resurrect Israel. But before he resurrect Israel, he got to resurrect David first. Then he resurrect the nation. So when you go read
Right.
it, after he resurrect David first, then he said a nation is born at once after that. So that's all of them that's coming with the Lord, the saints. So
But
now I'm gonna read this right here. 12. I mean chapter 12, Zechariah. And it says, the burden of the word of the Lord for Israel, said the Lord, which stretcheth forth the heavens and laid the foundation of the earth, forms the spirit of man within him. Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of trembling unto all the people round about when they shall be in the siege, both against Judah and against Jerusalem. There it is again. It's Judah and the people in Jerusalem. Ain't the other 10 tribes. See, 3. In that day will I make Jerusalem and a burdensome stone for all people around about it, burden themselves with it to be cut into pieces. See, the only way they're going to be cut into pieces is the saints. So it says, though all the people of the earth be gathered against it, in that day, says the Lord, I will smite every horse with astonishment, rider with madness. I will open my eyes upon the house of Judah. See that? He can't deliver Judah twice. He says, I'll open my house upon the house of Judah, and I will smite every horse with the people with blindness, and the governors, just the kings that's dead. These are saints that he can bring with him. See that? The governors of Judah says, shall say in their heart, the inhabitants of Jerusalem shall be my strength. The Lord of hosts is their God. In that day will I make the governors, these kings of Judah, like a heat of fire among the wood, like a torch of fire in a sheath, and they shall devour all the people round about, on the right hand and on the left, and Jerusalem shall be inhabited again in her own place, even in Jerusalem. And the Lord also shall say the tents of Judah first. There it is. That you can't deliver Judah twice.
Yeah, I think they have scrutinized these scriptures that they ain't in order. That like Ezekiel
You're right.
38.
You're right. That's what I'm trying to make sense of it. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right. And
like
they didn't flip it off because of JC. We're gonna see in a
right.
minute. Yeah,
And,
yeah, we'll see in a minute.
and,
Go ahead.
and like Ezekiel 38, these are those that came out of the nations, that he
Right,
had delivered out of the nations with wealth and cattle, and you know,
right.
because to me
Yeah, I'm
that's
glad you
like a
said
little
it.
small. We're gonna be like a little small Goshen,
Right,
and everybody and the other nations like Gog and Magog, them
right. So I
they
want, I
gonna
want,
be
I want to show
they
you
gonna be
something.
jealous.
I want to show you something pertaining to that. I'm glad you said that. So let's look at that. Uh, let's look at that. I'm gonna go to yeah. So we're gonna see who bring us how we get to the West Coast. So let me get it.
Can I ask while you finding that? Can
Yeah,
I
go ahead.
expound
Go ahead. Go
on
ahead.
Isaiah 66? Is that where you was at before she
Read.
travailed?
Right, yeah. Starting
Yeah. See,
down at 6 and 7.
so that's telling me before the Ezekiel 37 army, before they wake up, David came. Before she travailed,
Okay.
bef- she was born a man child, and that hit perfectly because uh David is on his own when he's bringing us out of these nations before Ezekiel 37.
Right. Okay, so here we go. 60. Right here. This how you're gonna see who brings us back. I gotta restart at 1. Chapter 6. The future glory of Zion. This is Isaiah 6. Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee. For behold, darkness shall cover the whole earth, gross darkness the people. But the Lord shall arise upon thee, his glory shall be seen upon thee. And the Gentiles shall come to thy light, and the kings to thy brightness of thy rising. Lift up thine eyes round about and see all they that gather themselves together, they come to thee. Thy sons shall come from afar, and thy daughters shall be nursed upon thy side. See, he said, their sons coming from afar, right? That's from over here, right? 5. Then thou shalt see and flow together, and thy heart shall fear and be enlarged. And because the abundance of the sea shall be converted unto thee, the forces of the Gentiles, that you mentioned the Gentiles twice, shall come unto thee. The multitude of the camels shall cover thee. The drummer of Midian and Ephod, and they from Sheba shall come, and they shall bring gold. Here you go. We go to great wealth. Gold. These Gentiles shall bring gold, incense, and they shall show forth the praises of the Lord. And the flocks of Cabor shall be gathered together unto thee, and the rams of Nebar shall minister unto thee. The Gentiles bringing this. They shall come up with acceptance on mine altar, and I will glorify the house of the glory. Here you go, right here. Who are these that fly as a cloud, as the doves to their windows? Surely the isles shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish, these Gentiles. See that? Gentile ships, ships of Tarshish first to bring thy sons. See that? Gentiles doing that. They don't need no leader. See that? Say that.
They, yeah,
And the ships of
yeah, they
Tarshish. Let me
they
finish.
doing it because of David.
Hold up. So it says, to bring thy sons from afar, thy silver and thy gold with them. The Gentiles bringing it with them unto the name of the Lord. They bringing it to him. They over there. So it says, to the name of the Lord and the Holy One of Israel, because he hath glorified thee. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in thy wrath I smote thee, but in my favor I have mercy on them. So what he's saying is, these same kings that we just saw from last night, these kings wrote all these maps. They watched us and plotted on us, and they used their resources and they power and they might and spoiled us. But he's gonna use some same kings, which is the order, and bring us back over there with that same might and order. Then when they get over there is when he's gonna put hooks in them to bring them over there, to bring us over there. When we get over there is when all that unfold that we've been talking about. They gonna bring us over there. Gentiles.
That's that's when David come though, because they all gonna bow down, and that's what it's leaving out. See, David, they gonna come under suggestion only when David come back and put them under suggestion.
Right. That's what the valley of Jehoshaphat is, the valley decision. When David shows up, and then he smite them with the rod of his mouth.
But we gotta be delivered before the valley of Jehoshaphat. We
Why
we
you say
we
that?
because we gotta get to the west coast of Africa, and we gotta be living in unwalled villages.
Right, right. That's right. That's what we just read. The Gentiles gonna bring us back where they got us from. Then it picks up. They bring us
But
back where we at. We dwelling in unwalled villages. Okay, so let's look at the scenario. When the Pharaoh and them said, no, he ain't letting them go. Then he brought drama on them. And then they let us go. What happened after they realized we was gone?
yeah, they came.
There you go. Same thing. The Gentiles said, let us go back over there. They didn't got all this good. Let me read it. Then the Most High dropped it on, finished them off. So it says, he brought the judgment on them. But so it says in Ezekiel. Let me get it. 38 says, uh, thou shalt ascend and come like a storm, same way the Pharaoh did. And thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, thou and thy bands and many people. Same setup. He gonna set them up. Thus said the Lord God, it shall also come to pass that at the same time shall thing come into thy mind that thou shalt think an evil thought. And thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages, and I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls, and neither having bars nor gates. Take a spoil, take a prey, to turn the hand upon the desolate places. David ain't there, bro. See that? The desolate places that are now inhabited, and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations, which have gotten cattle, goods, dwell in the midst of the land. We just read that. The Gentiles brought all that to them and brought them back to where they got them from. Brought them back to the west coast, Africa. And they said, well, they back. They didn't got all that stuff. We didn't gave them all that stuff. We finna go back and get it. Same way the Pharaoh did. Then judgment came. Then the man came up out the sea.
This man coming out of the sea in Second Ezra, he's delivering us from out of this nation.
No, he's pleading with all the nations that's been gathered. He's pleading with them about his people. That's what. And then when he says when they come down, let me read it. And then let me read it right quick.
And then they fighting against David and only David. You
Right.
see, I don't think our people gonna know who David really is when he come,
Right.
because in Isaiah 55, 3 through 5, it says he's a leader and a commander to the people.
Right.
When we get in our land, that's when he's gonna appoint David king. But we gotta have some guidance and organized from America to the west coast of Africa to unwalled villages. It's not the same event as the day of the Lord.
Right. Yeah, they two separate events.
He's gonna lead all them countries down. He's getting us close to him, and the shepherd is leading us to our God.
Right.
To me, just like he did in the wilderness. He's leading us all the way to Mount Zion, where the Lord of hosts is right there waiting on us. But he has put his power in David, the shepherd, to lead us to him.
Right. You forget he said, I'm a deliverer.
Yeah, he the
He's
deliverer, but he done
delivering.
put his power in David, just like he put his power in Moses. But when we read the scriptures, it was him delivering.
Right. Let's look at it.
But that was Moses leading them. Just the
Right.
same thing David doing.
Right. Let's look at it. I'm in Ezekiel 37. Ezekiel 37 says, and I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel. This is Ezekiel 37:22. I will make them one. I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel. One king shall be king over them all, and no more two nations, and neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms anymore at all. Neither shall they defile themselves anymore with their idols, nor with their detestable things, nor with any of their transgressions. But you know, I will save
Yeah,
them out of
yeah.
all their place, out of their dwelling places wherein they are sin. So I will save them. He went and got all of them. Now watch this. Do it. I will save them out of all the dwelling places over here too, wherein they are sin, and I will cleanse them. So he's gonna cleanse them. So shall they be my people, and I will be their God. Then David, my servant, shall be king over them.
That's when he
It's the other way around. He's dressing them all up to bring them to David.
see. It's same thing with Moses. Moses was leading them out, but I led you out. I'm gonna make you a god in front of Pharaoh. I, the Lord of hosts, get the glory. He he told us in the prophecy of Abraham, I'm gonna put my power. I'm gonna put my power in you. He
Right.
told us in Psalm 17. Uh in Psalm 17:15, as for me, I will behold thy face in righteousness. I shall be satisfied when I awake with thy
Right.
likeness. David, when he come out of that sea, when he called David after them 10 plagues he gonna put on the heathens, David is gonna have all his power.
Right. So who brought you to the prophet of awakening and for us to meet and all that? Was that David?
No, Lord of hosts.
So he's doing all that. He's doing all this now. When he
He,
get it
he
done, he brings David out, our king. David can't do. David is not causing the Chinese and all them to do what they're doing. It's,
he's not he's not caused.
we witness what I'm saying is we witnessing all that right now. We witness our deliverance right now. We don't ain't no David.
Yeah, but we got to have a leader and a commander to lead us all the way back to Mount Zion. And David, he gonna put his power. He already it's already written from the beginning. Isaiah 46, 9 and 10, I think.
Right.
He's already told the ending before the beginning. It's already written. David is gonna come save us.
Okay. Let's look at it. I'm going to one scripture after the next one. And
I
it
mean,
says,
the Lord of hosts get the glory. Don't get me wrong, but he already said, "I'm gonna put my power in David. He gonna be just like me." Same thing he did with Moses. He said he told Moses, "You're gonna be a god in front of Pharaoh. You're gonna be like a god." That's what a shepherd come get the sheep and he lead them to the green pasture. Even though and they walk through the valley of the shadow of death. He lead them to green pasture. He gonna lead us to green pasture.
right, he gonna lead us to he got a king and he got Zion and he got a king there. And he delivered the people, bring them back to the land and present them today.
So he gonna lead us all the way to the Lord of hosts. He Joel 3:17, the Lord of hosts roar out of Zion. That's where he gonna lead all these nations. He gonna put their
Right,
hooks in their jaws. He
right,
gonna lead. That's where the great slaughter gonna take place. But this ain't us coming out is not the same as the day of the Lord, because Zephaniah, in the book of Zephaniah 2, it tells us to gather yourself together before the day of the Lord, that
right,
you may be hid. We gonna be hid in the day of the Lord,
right. So who is the Lord?
the Lord of hosts.
Right. So he the one doing it.
He's
It's,
doing it
it's,
through
similar, it's,
David,
similar, it's,
though.
similar, it's similar to what's going on with David, but we're in a dire time. It's a whole different situation that we in this last time than before because of, like I said. So let's look at this right here. It says, and again, we'll talk about, somebody else have any comments. It says, let's see where I was at. Yeah, I'm in the wrong place. Let's go back to where I was at.
Who
And
doing all that deliverance in Isaiah 11? That's David.
yeah, but who raised David up? That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
the Lord of hosts. The
Okay,
Lord of hosts
so look
is
at
gonna
this.
meet us at Mount Zion.
Okay. Trying to do this right quick.
See, he said he preserved David for this day to
Right,
bring us out, to get us reparations. I don't see the Chinese. They 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 gotta pay for America debt, and if they get their hands on some gold and silver, they gonna give it to us.
right.
I don't.
America's at the end of the food chain. They ain't. The render stuff that was done to us was done to us. 2,000 years. It's 2,000 years of oppression.
Right.
The focus on the American. That's.
That's why this man that came out of the sea, he charged them, and then he
Right.
killed them.
Who is them? Who is them though?
Uh,
The
I
Gentiles.
believe, I
The
believe
Gentiles.
he's singling that. I believe he's singling it down to America first.
No, it's the Gentiles. The
And,
Gentiles. The time of the Gentiles. Third and the fourth beast. The Chinese is Gentiles. To focus on the Americans, it ain't. He talking to all the Gentiles, Cain descendants. They the
but
ones
see
done
that four
it's four.
that
It's
go
two
back to
kings.
that go back to the 400-year prophecy. He said he's singling down a bullseye on one nation, and he said, and this is where we at Genesis 15:14. He said, I'm gonna judge that nation. then you coming out. See, these people running around here talking about reparations, they don't understand the 400-year prophecy. You ain't getting nothing till he put them plagues on this place, then we come out.
We looking at the
With
plagues.
David.
We
We
looking at the
coming out
plagues.
with David.
David ain't came, but we looking at the plagues. You don't think
What?
the coronavirus is a plague? David ain't
Yeah,
here,
but
plagues here, bro. Come on.
he got 10 plagues in the hypocrisy of Abraham that he promised he gonna put on the heathens.
Okay.
And it fit perfectly with second Ezra. The wild beast coming
Yeah,
out,
here you go.
the
Here you go. It says, in that day, I will raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, close up the breaches thereof, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days old. David doing that?
no, Lord of hosts doing it.
So what I'm showing you is this ain't the same as Moses. He doing everything else. He got to bring all of Israel back together. David can't do that. David dead. So
He's
he got to do all of it. Then
he
once he get it situated, then he brings out David out to come up out the sea. After you get them situated, get them back from over here, get them out of this land mass over here. The Gentiles gonna do all that. Bring us back on the ship to Tarsus, back to over there. Then what Moses done, the dead Lord takes place. But all this stuff right here, all this, he even got to bring David up out his grave.
David gonna be a leader and a commander.
Yeah, after he raised him up.
But
He can't do all
before,
that until he raised him up.
yeah, before he is
Time appointed.
crowned.
You got a time appointed for that. To raise
But
David
David,
up.
David won't be crowned king until we get over in the land.
Right. So he not in the picture until he get back over there. That's when he come up out the sea. That's the point I'm trying to get you to see. He ain't showing up over here.
It just said in Ezra, he's showing up and he's he gonna charge them when he show up.
Yeah, I just read in Joel. He went and pleaded with them at the Valley of Decision.
But see,
He pleaded
that's
twice.
way
And he pleaded twice. He's gonna
he
deliver Judah twice, and he's gonna plead with the
he
people twice.
he's
Which one
he
is it?
he's setting America free first. He David is setting America free.
Okay.
The Valley of Jehoshaphat, he bringing all the nations in.
Okay.
That's the Lord of hosts pleading with them. David is setting us free in second Ezra.
Okay. Read another one for you.
It's a big gap between the west coast of Africa
We
till
just read it.
Ezekiel 30.
He just read he's gonna bring them from afar. The Gentiles gonna bring thy sons and thy daughters from afar. Where's
Yeah,
afar? Where's afar? So here we go right here. Second Ezra, would you just mention the man with this out of the sea, right? Check
right.
this. I didn't even get a chance to read this, but I'm over here. I'm back over here now. This one the four beasts. I mean, I didn't mention it. You brought it up. So it says the four beasts. Okay, let me start reading. This is the meaning of the vision that you have seen. As for the eagle that you saw rising up out of the sea, uh, it is the fourth kingdom that appeared in the vision of your brother Daniel. But it was not explained to him as I now explained to you, or have explained it. Behold, the days are coming when a kingdom will arise out on the earth, and it will be more terrible than all the kingdoms that were before it. Moreover, 12 kings will arise over it, one after another. But the second, this is what I was saying. So one after another one. So David can't come before all these kings show up. And we see right now, China gonna rule after America fall. So how can David come in between America falling and China rising? China, all of them gotta fall. So keep going. Moreover, 12 queens will reign, one after another one. But the second one, who is the reign, will rule longer than the 12. This is the meaning of the 12 wings which thou saw. As for your hearing the voice that spake, here we go, what you just brought up. spoke to the people that came from his head. Oh, I ain't there yet. For his head, but from the middle of his body. This is the meaning. In the midst of the time of the kingdom, no small struggle will arise, and it will be the danger of falling, but it will not fall then, but it will regain its former glory. We know all this happened. As for you seeing the 8 additional wings springing from his wings, this is the meaning. 8 kings will arise in it, or their times will be short, and whose years will be fleeing, and 2 of them will fall when the middle of the time draws near, but the 4 will be preserved for the time when the end begin to approach. But 2 will be kept to the end. And as for you seeing the 3 heads resting, this is the meaning. In the last days, the Most High will raise up 3 kings, and they will renew all things in it, and it shall distress the earth and those who are in it, and the greater oppression than the ones before them. This is that is why they are called the eagle's head. For it is they that will bring his wickedness uh, to a head and will bring him to his end. And as for you seeing the greater head disappear, one of them will die in his bed, but in torment. But as for the 2 who are left, and the sword will devour them, for the sword of one will devour the other, uh, one one who was with him. So this is one of the most high characteristics. This ain't David characteristics. He's gonna cause these last two to fight against each other. He too will fall by the sword in those days. And after you seen the 2 additional heads crossing over to the head on the right side, this is the meaning. It is these that the Most High has kept for the eagle's end, and for their reign was short and full of disturbances, as you saw. And as for the lion, here we go. As for the lion that you saw rising up out of the forest, speaking to the eagle, there you go. Joel, that little Jehoshaphat right here. See, and as for you, as the lion that you saw roaring out of the forest, speaking to the eagle, rebuking him for his wickedness, and as for his words that you have heard, this is the anointed one. There it is. That's 4 different places. How many times he gonna do? He gonna come in America and speak. He gonna come to the Valley of Jehoshaphat and speak too.
Okay, let me show you something right quick.
That's what I'm saying.
And I know you don't think this is talking about us, but it fits right with all that.
Okay.
Hosea 1:10 and 11. Yet
Okay.
yet the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured, numbered. It shall come to pass in the place where they call you niggas, 3/5 of a human,
No, no,
and
no, no.
all that.
That's not what that means. That's not what that means.
Wait, let me
He,
continue
he
on
cast
though.
them off. He cast them off in Israel when they was.
Okay,
He said they're no longer my people in Israel. You applying that to the wrong place. He's in
okay, but let me.
Israel. He said you no longer my people, and he kicked them out. Not
But
over here.
but 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 you just said he keep doing the same. His routine is the same.
Right, but he's
Okay,
not. That's not where they was not a people no more. It was not a
but
people when he brought Antioch Epiphanes there and ran them out. He rebuked them. It wasn't over here.
oh,
But you
okay, but
read in Deuteronomy 28, the curses.
okay, but let me go on. Ye
Okay,
are
go
the son. You're gonna find out you are the sons of the living God.
right.
Then shall the children of Judah
Mm-hmm.
and the children of Israel be gathered together.
Right.
Ain't them Haitians trying to get into America?
Right. That's what I
Okay,
just read. It's on, but it's
and
only it's only it's
and
only
up,
Judah is who he's pleading for at the Valley of Jehoshaphat.
but this is totally different. The our deliverance out of America is different from the Valley of Jehoshaphat.
Okay.
It's a big it, and they shall appoint themselves one head, and
Right.
they shall come out of the land. They shall come out.
Right.
All through the scripture is telling you to gather yourself together, O nation not desired.
Right.
And they gonna appoint themselves one head, and they gonna come out of the land. Isaiah 55:3-5.
Right.
He had given David to us as a leader and a commander.
Right. Right. That's not over here though. That's where it's not being construed at right. We just read where he said the Gentiles gonna bring you on boats back over here. He didn't say David. He didn't say nope. He said the Gentiles gonna bring you back.
David gonna make them because they gonna buy when you read second Samuel 22 around the 30th verse, how when David them Gentiles is gonna bow down to David. So yeah, they gonna bring us back because he gonna make them
Right.
through the power of the Lord of hosts. But that's his whole purpose of raising David up and giving him this power. It ain't David. I mean, it's the Lord of hosts. Just like
Right.
it wasn't Moses.
Okay. Anybody else have any comments? Anybody else got any comments on that?
Woo! A lot to digest.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's just you gotta sit back and look at it and let it ferment. Cause like I said, you can't. When you start seeing doubles, there's something wrong. He said he's gonna deliver Judah and Jerusalem, children of Jerusalem, one time. They got to be delivered one time. And if you gotta do it twice, something wrong. So he pleads, he comes and pleads with the world, the nations, for his people, Judah and Benjamin. And he said, you took them and you sold them in the transatlantic slave trade. Judah, Benjamin, and Levi is the heads. They're the ones that's getting the chastisement. The 10 tribes stayed in Africa. So Judah either Judah over there at the Valley of Jehoshaphat or Judah over here. One of the two. And then when you go to the scriptures and look at it, he tells you he's gonna cause the Gentiles that scattered us to bring us back to where they got us from. Jeremiah 29 and 14. Bring us back where he got them from. Then he takes over from there. But when they see it, not only do these Gentiles see it, but these higher powers see that the Israelites back where they supposed to be at, back together again, where they supposed to be at, is when they come to try to spoil them. But he ain't gonna let it happen. That's when the prophecy that we've been dealing with start unfolding. It's not over here.
And for that person that asked that question in the chat, why ain't we gone yet? If this is the 400 year, we ain't gone yet because he said judgment first. Genesis 15:14. Then we come out.
Right,
We
right.
gotta wait. We
That's
gotta wait the judgment. This is the 400 year.
right. That's true. So, like I was saying before, you have to look at all that, which is not really, those are some things that has to be just like with JC. They gonna ride with JC till the Most High do his thing. So we see that when they came out of Egypt, he tells you the self same day. He told them when they came out of Babylon, he said 70 years. Well, 70 years is up, self same day. When the 70-year hit, it was over with. There wasn't no lag. So something wrong.
Yeah, but he said
With no lag.
Genesis 15:14. You can't wipe that off.
Yeah,
He
yeah, but I'm
said,
saying it's self same. When he give you a time period, when that time period comes, ain't no lag. You don't lag.
no, it ain't no lag because he said I'm gonna judge that nation.
Okay, all right.
He
But it's
got to judge the nation, then we come out.
okay, so let's look at it. 1619 to 2019 is how many years?
400.
400 years up, right?
Is he not judging?
No, no, hold up. I'm saying 400 years up.
Yeah.
Is it so? It's lag.
How's it lag when he'd have told you in verse 14 that we got to wait this judgment out?
Okay.
The judgment that he gonna put up on this nation. Then
Okay.
we come out.
So
He didn't say we coming out right then.
so let's look at it. When they came out of Egypt, he told them Did he not judge that nation when they came out of Egypt?
Yeah, when they came out.
Right when he said the 400 years or whatever, how many times when they was in Babylon, the judgment was all included in it. There ain't nothing different. He bought them out. When it was time when time for the 70 years to be up, the judgment was included in it. On that self same day, they came out. The judgment already happened. Wasn't no lag. Nowhere in the scriptures, Michael lagging.
It ain't no lag when he already prophesied to you that Genesis 15:14, he's gonna judge the nation before you come out.
Okay.
I don't get it. I mean,
It's a
you got
time
to
period.
stay,
400 years, bro.
but
If it's
that don't
14,
mean
if it's 14, it's lag. If it's four
no.
lag.
What the scriptures say though?
Just
Genesis
like
15:14.
just like in Babylon. Oh, he said 70 years. If it's 72 years, it's lag. They
That
ain't how
ain't lag.
that's
Look,
how it
look, look, look.
works. That's how it
What
works.
what the scriptures say? He said,
I'm
and he
lost, bro.
said to Abraham, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that's not theirs, and they shall
Right,
serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. Okay. And also that nation whom they serve will I judge. I don't see him telling us we coming out when the 400 years is over with. He said, and also that nation who they shall serve will I judge. Afterwards
right,
shall they come out after the judgment,
right,
not after the 400 years is up.
right. Exactly. Like I said, so which one is it? Is it I mean when you start looking at that, is who doing it? David gonna do that or Michael gonna do it? I mean,
Nah, bruh, ain't
it's
no
two
way David can do
going.
it, but I'm telling you, he
That's what I'm
gonna
saying. So
use
he's saying David gonna do it. But I'm telling you, I'm
he
telling showing you Michael gonna do it. And
he's
then
gonna use David to do it.
I'm saying, where is he at? The
He's
400
coming
years
back
of
after.
it. The 400 years of it, all we see is Michael doing it. That's what I'm saying. They ain't up with scripture.
Nah, what I'm saying is he promised in the prophecy of Abraham, I'm gonna
Okay,
put 10 plagues on the heathens.
okay,
After the 10 plagues, I'm gonna sound my trumpet. David gonna come out of the sea, my
okay.
anointed one, and
Now, there you go.
and,
That's
and he said he said my anointed one who I've given my power to,
right,
and he's gonna summons his people. He gonna
right.
gather his people and bring them out of the land.
Okay, so I mean, like I said, I'm bouncing off of what you're saying. So let's look at another one right here. You just mentioned the trumpet. Let's look at this. Like I said, is it how many trumpets gonna be blown? How many times you gonna plead with them? So right here, chapter 2, verse 1. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, sound the alarm in my holy mountain, and let the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh. That on the trumpet, bro. How
That's
many
the
trumpets
day
you
of the
gonna
Lord.
blow? Two trumpets? You gonna blow two
That's the
trumpets? You
one.
gonna,
Apparently,
deliver
he
Judah
gonna.
twice? Hold up, he gonna deliver Judah twice? He gonna blow two trumpets? He gonna use David over here. Which one is it, bro? I mean,
He
then he says that 400-year prophecy. At the same time. That's how he worked. That's how he got favor with Yahweh, because he on point. He on time. He don't have no lag. It's a problem.
it,
It's a problem. When I'm looking at the scriptures, I see that as a problem. I mean, a lot of
it,
times I don't deal with it, but it's a problem. You
we
go,
we
you just mentioned the trumpet. I read the trumpet. Is he gonna blow two trumpets?
maybe it's gonna be the trumpet only David can hear. I don't
No,
know,
no,
but
no, no, no.
David is coming out of the sea after the 10 plagues he promised to put on the heathens.
And no. You see, right here, the Israel deal with
It
trumpets. He
it
said
does add up,
when the
but
trumpet when the trumpet is blown is when everything go down. You see,
but you
right there with Joel, the saints coming up, all that. So let's look at that. So
we
it's saints, right? We say they Israelites. Okay,
We
so
gotta be delivered before the valley of Jehoshaphat.
okay,
It
you have to
you could
wait
just
on that one. Then you have to wait on it because when
you
it comes down, you gonna. It says the scripture says that he gonna revert you back to the person he sent. Break it
you
down.
could throw Isaiah 11 away if we ain't delivered before the valley of Jehoshaphat. We got to be delivered. And Isaiah 11, he's putting his power in David. David had told you in Psalm 17:15, I desire that day when I arise and be in the likeness of Michael.
Right. That's when the trumpet blown. That's Isaiah 66:5. He says that a voice went to the temple in Jerusalem.
It's
David
David
was
got
raised up. David was raised up. That's a trumpet was blown. He not just gonna raise David about the blue. It's a sign.
so
It's a sign
you
that's going. It's a
so
trumpet
you
that's going.
so you skipping all over the west, the unwalled villages. Skip all that. Just go straight to the valley of Jehoshaphat.
No, he just we just read in Isaiah. He brings us all there. The Gentiles brings us back. They bring us back to
That's
the west coast of Africa. The
that's
Gentiles.
because of our king coming. We
I mean,
appoint one leader.
that ain't what I just. That ain't in Isaiah. They don't say. It don't say that in Isaiah. It don't say that David bringing us back. He said the Gentiles is going to bring us back on their ships, back to the land with our sons and daughters, with our gold, all that on the ships. David ain't in there. You don't mention David. He mentioned David when we get back over there to the land.
He
Then
ain't
the
mentioned it
trumpet is blown.
because David is a commander and a leader, and I don't think the people know who David is until we get to the land where he's gonna appoint David king
That's all, bro.
over all Israel. But at this time, David is gonna be a commander and a leader
Right.
and a shepherd that leads us all the way back to the Lord of hosts.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How is David going? You got to think about what you're saying. How are he going to lead us back when the Most High raising him up? It
I'm
ain't,
not discrediting.
it's not David's job to lead us back. Our Creator, our God.
It's yes, he's the
So
one doing it
it's not
through.
David. It's not David. David
He's
being
the
resurrected.
one. He's the one doing it through David. How did Moses do all them miracles?
It's different. Was Moses dead for 12,000 for 200 years, 2,000 years?
No, but how did Moses do
Bro.
all them miracles? Through the Lord of hosts. It's not David,
Right. Okay.
but he has kept David for this day.
That's already understood. But I'm saying you got timelines out of sync.
Didn't he say in the latter days, we're going to seek the Lord of hosts and David our
Yeah,
king
who the
while we
Lord of us
seek
is.
Michael?
Right. He doing it. He bringing us to David.
I'm agreeing with you. He's doing
Okay.
it through David.
Right. But at a certain time, David come on the scene. It's a certain time when David come in the process. Is when he get
David
back
got to
over there and the
come,
trumpet is blown.
but
Trumpet is
David
blown.
got to come before Ezekiel 38. We got to get to the West Coast. We got to be dwelling in unwalled villages,
Right.
dwelling safely. Why?
Right.
Why we don't need walls? Because
Okay.
David is the shepherd. He's leading us back to Mount Zion. Joel 3:17, the Lord of hosts will roar out of Mount Zion. He's going to be right there at Mount Zion waiting.
Right. Like I said
David,
before, why would they come up to try to why would they come up to take spoils if it don't matter who they are? Why would they say they're gonna come and take spoils if we got a supernatural entity that's there protecting us? That don't make sense.
didn't they fight against David when he came out of the sea?
But they wasn't had the capabilities that David gonna have when he come back. We
But
saw what he was capable of doing when he came up out the sea. So you telling me they're gonna say let's go up against them when David got the ability to spit fire out his mouth and burn the whole nation up? He ain't there.
they ain't gonna have no choice because
No, they're
all
not
the
gonna. You
wealth,
got to think about that. Why would they make up in their mind to go attack them when it's a man that can spit fire in his mouth and burn them up? Don't
because
make
they gonna do it. It gonna come in their remembrance again
it don't make sense,
because
bro.
But because these people living good and they all suffering.
Yeah.
So yeah, they
Do,
gonna have to come against
right.
you.
Do the
But
most I
but
have
this
do we have ability? Do we have ability to make them live good?
but
We can cause them to live good.
this time when they come against him, that's when your Ezekiel 37 army come up.
Nah, it's not. It's not. David ain't there. I mean, we have to wait it out, bro. But he ain't there. When you look at the scriptures, they not gonna say why would they make a decision to come up against David when he just burnt all of them up? He just came out to sea and burnt all of them up on his arrival. If you placing him coming before that, that means he came out to sea, burnt them all up. They seen what he capable of doing. Now they gonna turn around and say, "Let us go over there where they at." I
He's
don't know
gonna
about
deliver.
I don't know about nobody else. If I see a Negro burn up a whole bunch of folks, I ain't going nowhere around.
We gotta have a deliverer. You can't turn you can't turn Negroes loose with gold and silver without this kind of government
Hey,
that David gonna bring.
that ain't had nothing, bro.
Ain't no way. We'd be in worse shape we is now. We'd be killing each other, robbing. Ain't
That's
no
because
way.
we still in the curses. That's what I keep on trying to show you. We still in the curses. So
Yeah, but
that means if you rightly divide that, then something wrong.
we out of the countries.
These folks came out. The U.S. came out and said 1619. U.S. said 2019 was the year. Like I say, it's a like the lady was just saying. That's a scenario. The mark of the beast, all that. That's the Gentiles end time scenario. And
Now
the
these
400
these
years and all that. That's their scenario.
these scriptures. When did all this trouble start happening, bro?
They bringing it. Like I said,
Huh?
they manufacturing they manufacturing the virus. They behind man-made. They man-made these container ship debacle. They doing all that
The
because
Most High said.
Esau want to rule the world for 1,000 years from Jerusalem.
The Most High said, I create the evil and the good. He doing it.
Right.
He working through them, just like he gonna work through David and deliver us out of here.
All right. We'll see how that go down, man. It's
Yep.
on, like I said, if David
Show
just
me
came,
a scripture where show me a scripture where China is gonna give us anything if they get their hand on some gold and silver.
they
That
got all
that
the gold. They got it. We see what they we just saw them. We just saw the video where they got all the
so
gold.
they gonna pay us for America
They're gonna
and
deliver us
trust.
from here. They're gonna deliver us from here because they want us to help them over there.
But where that at in scripture?
This is the thing about it. Let it unfold. And the Most High said
Exactly.
that's how he proved the
Exactly.
prophet. That's how he proved
Exactly.
the prophet. Like I said,
Exactly. David got to come back and save us.
right, when it unfolds, then we know what's what. Because it's gonna happen. It's no way with everything we see happening with China that the world from the end. The time of the end, I mean, it's got a whole thing got to play out. Like Daniel told us, it's four beasts. And we still dealing with the four beasts. America ain't the end of the four beasts. It's got another beast after it. So David, ain't no way David can come in between that. So what that does is place him over in the Middle East, where his ruins at, where it tells you, I'm gonna raise up the ruins of David. I'm gonna sound the trumpet. You're gonna come up at the valley of Jehoshaphat. That's where all that's going down there. It ain't happening over here, bro. Still got to deal with China. That would, that can pretty much pass if you ain't have to deal with China. We're looking at all this information going on with China. That's got to play out. That'll be an untimely, like he said about the fig tree. The tree be shaking too early. But if David came back, he'd be too early.
The bottom line, though, is the end result is going to be the end result of what the Lord always wants. So, however it is, we may not understand it.
Right.
Disagree to disagree. The end thing is going to be the same. We're going to be
Right.
delivered. People are
Exactly.
going to be judged.
Right. That's all I'm saying is that I'm just looking at it and seeing that how the end is. We can't have You know, like I said, he said that four beasts gonna come upon the earth and play out. Then these whatever it is, whatever person that came up in their mind that it's gonna happen, the four beasts got to play all the way out. And we looking at it right now. China part of the fourth beast, so we can't start speculating nothing until the China is through. Not America,
All I'm,
but China.
all I'm saying it's a big gap in between west coast of Africa and the Valley of Jehoshaphat. I it's a difference between the day of the Lord and us leaving America. That ain't the same event. He just told you there in Second Ezra.
That's what we've been screaming all along.
It's not the same event.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what we've been screaming all along. But when you add all the factors together, like I was saying, that if you assuming that David gonna come, look at what China happening with China. So that eliminates David.
But don't he
Time,
use
time
war?
they coming. It eliminates.
War that's nothing unusual. War is a method that he uses.
Right.
Deuteronomy 4:27. That's just one of his 7 methods that he used to deliver a nation from a
Right.
nation.
Right.
Yeah, China, Russia, all of them coming. But they ain't gonna free us and give us great substance.
Okay. Well, let me read something. Then I'm gonna close out. You know, it's like the only reason I'm responding because when the statement is made, I mean, I'm looking at it. So let's look at it. I'm in Second Ezra right here. Says, now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled. The Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus. Come on, he stirred the spirit of Cyrus up, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom, put it in writing, saying, "Thus says the king of Persia." See that? Why it can't be Beijing or the king of China? See that? Thus says the Lord, king of Persia, Lord God of heaven, have given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he has charged me to build him a house in Jerusalem. See that? David ain't nowhere around. He charged Cyrus to build him a house. So same thing now. I'm showing you he's going. There's no difference.
The
I'm
sheep still the
dealing about
sheep the sheep is gonna have to have a shepherd. And the shepherd is the one that leads the sheep to the safety.
right. Okay. Yeah. So anybody got anything else? We had 2 hours and 8 minutes. Yeah. So like I said, tomorrow based on what some of the stuff you heard, you want to dive in there and figure out something you can come in with, then we're gonna pick it up tomorrow at 12. And have some more information put out. It's just about putting out information. You know, you take it the meat and take the bone and do what you want with it. Just do it like that. Everybody good?
All good.
Shalom.
Shalom.